Welcome back to the Northwest Parkinson's Foundation, The Art of Sheltering at Home. This is session 2 of cut paper. Last time we were working on our self-portraits, or our pet self-portrait, and we worked with the cut paper. That's not to be confused with paper cutting. Paper cutting is another form of art, and it involves sort of taking paper and folding it and cutting it little pieces, and when you open it up it's something beautiful. We used to do it as kids. We'd make snowflakes. So that's paper cutting. We're doing cut paper. So when we did our self-portraits, we used paper from, I had some cards. I actually had this is a pizza box, and I also had a Raisin Bran box. So that's what I had to use to do my self-portrait from, and that's what I came up with. And even though the lips are a little off, I'm pretty happy with it. What we're going to do today is make some colorful paper to use to cut shapes out of for other work that we're going to do. So you can do a portrait again, you can do it landscape. I think I mentioned I was going to do some tulips for National Parkinson's Awareness Month. So so we can do, what the difference is, so when you see this, for example, this self-portrait, and then you look at the one that I had done earlier. Oh, sorry, I'm over here. And you can see that by creating my own paper, I had more color, and I could also use lights, mediums, and darks. For this, I just had the Raisin Bran box, and the pizza box. So I have much more shadowing and contrast. And if you have lights, mediums, and darks in various colors, you just do so much more depth. So I'm happy with that, but if we want to do more depth, or whether it's a portrait or a landscape, or whatever it is you want to create, this is a technique to create some paper so we can make shapes and make all sorts of fun stuff. So let's go ahead and get started. What you'll need is watercolor paper. Oops, dang, sorry. Some water. I angle this so you can see all the things on my workstation here. So we have water. I just have mushrooms came in the grocery store, recycling it, and so I have a cloth. I have some paintbrushes. I have my paints. This is straight from, Walmart. I was traveling and didn't have any paint and wanted to paint something, so that's perfectly fine watercolor. This is a travel set here. Get it open. So it's just very simple. Don't need anything elaborate. Watercolor is the best because it's so easy to clean up, and it's so the camera again while I'm talking. There we go. Watercolor is so easy to clean up, and it's so compact and ready to take anywhere. I find watercolor very challenging as a medium if I'm creating something, but for making paper, it's very fun. So let me show you the difference. We're gonna take our pages, and I'll talk while you're doing. You have to wet them. So I had a big sheet, and I just cut it in half. So there are 2 smaller pages than one big one. Gives me more variety. So go ahead and take if you have a bigger brush, I'm going to use my wider brush, and I'm dipping it in the water, and I'm going to wet my paper. So I'm going to go both ways. I'm going to go sideways, or vertically, and then horizontally. And so the paper wet, not wet, but damp. So all the fibers have been moisten. So I'm going to go both ways, and I'm going to do both sides. So I'm going to go across here. And the beauty of this technique is it's not precise. So if you have dyskinesia or a tremor or you're rigid, it doesn't matter. You know, just have it wet and go set it somewhere to dry. Lean it against something. Oh, I have another tip. If you have a drink while you're, you know, it's soda or tea or whatever, while you're working with watercolors, put your glass far away from your water, because you'll end up dipping your brush in your tea. I've done it. So while you're moistening your papers, you have like 3 or 4 ready, and keep getting them wet and going across and down, and then set them to dry. And they're going to need a moment to dry. So while you're doing that, and I will continue to talk and show you examples of. So this is a nice glare. So this one is a piece I did that I made the paper. So it just gave me so much more variety to choose from. So I didn't have to, you know, I didn't have to look at the Raisin Bran box and say what can I get out of this. I had nice colors to choose from. And when you're painting, when we're all done, we're going to look at darks, mediums, and lights. And then we can look at backgrounds. So as you get your paper ready, you want to make sure it's dry. I'm going to point this down again. Sorry, I keep fixing this camera, but I want to make sure you see what I'm doing. So you want to make sure that it's dry, because if it's wet, it's not going to work right. You can actually take your cloth or paper towel, and if you get these, so there's like little pools in there, you might, you know, pat some of that away. We don't need wet paper so much as the fibers of the paper need to have been wet. Okay, so this one is dry. And I'm gonna start with this one because it's dry. And all we're gonna do, this is the fun part. Oh, don't forget to supply your paintbrush and your water, and don't forget you have your salt shaker. That's one of the key ingredients here. Ooh, and you wonder why. This is very fun if you haven't done this before. I'm gonna take like my medium brush. So I use my big brush to get it wet. I'm gonna put color on with this brush, and yeah, you can use a bigger or smaller or square versus pointed. It doesn't matter. That's the fun. And this is the best part too. You don't have to be precise at all. So I'm just going to dip it in color and plop it on the page. And plop, plop, plop. And maybe I'm going to get another color, so I'm going to dip it in the water so I get that color off. And I want the paintbrush wet before I dip it into the paint, but I don't want it soaking wet, so I'm going to dot it on the cloth. And then I'm going to take another color. This time I'm just going to go like, I'm going to round the brush. Like little swoopies. I have nothing intended, there's nothing I'm making. I'm not saying I'm going to make a whole, you know, tea set here. No, I'm just plopping down colors. And I'm gonna go for a little yellow now. Need some swirls. So you can go up and down. You can do it, and then while it's still, we're just going to do this in layers. So don't fill up the whole page. Just leave lots of white spots. Then go ahead and put some salt on it and set it aside. And then we're going to take the next piece of paper that has been wet, but it's dry. I'm going to play with that one too. I'll change my paintbrush. And I'll put some blue. We need some bold blue. And then I'm going to dot some more blue. And then I'm going to take another color. I'm going to take some red. I'm going to do a different motion with that. I'm going to swoop that one. And again, I'm not filling the whole page because we're going to layer this. So I want to leave lots of white space. Except I want another color, so I'm just going to put another color in there. And I'm going to put some of this. And I'm going to brush, I'm just pushing the brush up. Making a little sort of weird shapes there. It's okay if you like if it intersects with another color. And then I'm going to salt that. If you look at the one that you salted earlier, you can see that it's sort of mush. It makes the colors sort of separate a little bit. You can see that it's making little spots in here. And this one is thinking about it. This one is it's making some. It's like crystal. The salt makes the colors sort of come together in a different way than they would in I see this one I see dripping. So I'm just going to take my drip down there. I'm just going to get the little dots off there, off the drippy parts, because I don't want that one dripping. I'm going to take my third piece of paper, and I'm going to do something else. I'm going to take the big brush and play with that one. See what that does. I'm going to get a couple colors at a time, so this will be interesting. So I'm just going to go, ooh, that's fun. You see what that did? That was very fun. I'm going to do some more. Some swoopies. You don't want to do too much. Don't go overboard. I've done that before. And I want to pat that a little bit. If you can also do, if you don't like it, you can sort of wipe it off. And then you sort of get a background, and then you can try again. And then we're going to salt that. I'm going to salt that. Make sure your saltshaker's got a lot of salt in it. So now I'm going to see if one of the others, this is what I have. I did the little swoops of yellow with blue dots. I did some sweepy red and blues, and then I just finished this bigger brush with the background that I erased. Sort of erased. So I'm going to go back to this first one to see if it's dry. Because you don't want, again, and if your salt gets all over, just sort of use your cloth and wipe it away. Let your paintbrushes get rinsed off. And so you can use your paper towel or your cloth. You don't want to leave them in the water. That's yucky. It will ruin the brush. So wipe the salt away. And look and see if it's dry. This one is thinking about it. I have another dry one that I made earlier, just so I can show you what happens next. So this one is dry, and now I'm going to do the same thing to it, but with different colors. So I'm going to put the next layer on. So this one has a lot of yellow. Oh, yeah, glare. It has a lot of yellow, so I'm going to put, I think I'll put some, I'll make some red. A couple shades of red. A little red in there already, but I'm going to do different, I'm going to put over the top, and I'm going to do some of the white space too. So I'm just pushing the brush up. That's how I'm getting the water. And so I'm just going to have fun, and then I'm going to put, what color is this? Oh, that's kind of funky green. Yeah, let's do some funky green. A green blue, huh? So I can do swirlies, I can do chop, I can do, I'm just doing a little almost like calligraphy here. Alright, and then I'm going to want to, again, I don't want to fill up the whole page. I'm going to layer this some more. And at some point we'll stop, and I'm not sure when, but you have to look at your piece and decide, when it's time to stop. So I'm going to do this then, the line across the whole thing. Right, and I salt that. And I sort of knock off the excess salt on the work table, brush it away so it's not in my way. And this red one is looking dry now. Oh no, it's got a couple spots on it. It's still thinking about it. This one is drying now. So we're gonna do probably 2 or 3 layers on each one. So and as you're going along, notice if they're starting to look, if mine are looking all the same sort of value. Sounds very light. This one's maybe light to medium. This one's maybe light to medium. So I think I'm going to start making, I'm going to identify this one as a light. And I think when I get to this one, I'm going to go into more, make that a little darker so I have colorful paper to choose from that's both light and dark. So I don't want to do too much more to this one if it's going to be a light, but I do want to fill in some of that white space. So I'm going to take some more. I'm going to focus on sort of the yellows and the light oranges and keep this light, but I'm going to, oh, that ended up being green. So much for yellow and light orange. Going for tan here. All right. I'm just going to put some softer stuff in there. And if you don't like it, you can wipe it off or rub it in. And then I'm going to go to another color. Another light color. I'm going to do light yellow here. A little bit of light yellow in there. I'm going to put splotches. There's not any splotches yet. Alright, and sometimes what makes something look lighter is to have a little bit of dark in there to emphasize the light. So what color is this? I don't know what color that is. Sort of a green. I'm going to mix some color here. I'm going to make do like a magenta with this yellow here. Oh, that's good. That's a good color. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to put some swirlies in there. But I don't want to cover too much of this page because I do want it to stay light. That kind of got darker than I thought, so I'm just going to put a little bit of that there. Another thing you can do is you can play with the drop. So I wipe the other drop up. This one I might want to just swirl it around and let the drops sort of wander down the page. See how they're sort of dripping down the page, and then I'm going to go this way. Oh, it really dripped that way. So oh, it's going to go this way. Balance it out a little bit. Let the drips be part of it. I'm going to go back to another piece that's dry. This one's dry. A little bit on there that's a little bit damp. I'm just going to take that little puddle there. If you have excess salt, just shake it off. And now I'm going to put, this I need it dark. So I'm identifying this one as a medium or a dark. So I'm just going to add a little more color to that one. Got some green going on here. Oh yeah, there's some dark green. And do little swirlies. You can do anything on the paintbrush, you know, just you can do it sideways. You can do the flat versus the oval. So I'm going to give it a little more. I don't know what color this is. Ooh, that's looking pretty dark. All right. I'm going to do some swatches. Oh, that's very dark. Right now I'm going to touch with a little touch of something light just for contrast. This one's orangey yellow here. And I'm going to salt that because it makes it look so cool. It just separates the colors in a weird way. See how this is getting darker now? And now I'm going to look at another dry one. That one's not dry. We're going to look at this one. This one's kind of having its own little, you know, it's playing its own little. And so sometimes when I think, is this done yet? I will just take it and sort of turn it and say, is it saying anything to me? Or I'll crop it So I'm not seeing anything yet. I'm seeing like a, oh, that's a possible chair there. That looks like a chair right there. And maybe it's a yoga class. That's kind of cool. So it's like a chair yoga class, but there's somebody standing. There's a yoga person there. Maybe I just see yoga and everything. Let's see it that way. That way's almost flowers. And then that way. So I'm not sure that it's showing me anything yet, but it may be showing me yoga. So I'm going to just play with that and see if it wants to be yoga. And I take another color and slap it on there and see what happens. So I'm going to keep this one sort of a medium because that's what it's saying to me. So I'm going to do a little bit of playing here. So this one I'm actually going to look at it and say, well, this is yoga and these people are doing yoga poses. Maybe I'll add a head. And maybe this person has, not someone doing a down dog, let's give them a head. And some arms. And then we're going to give this one some feet. And then we're going to, I don't want to concentrate too hard on that because it's not, this isn't detail. Remember, we have Parkinson's, we end up painting stuff, you know, dyskinesia, and you go, whoops, and it's okay in this. I'm going to put a head here. And we're going to do, I don't want to concentrate on too much, so I'm going to put another color in there and just see what happens to it. Another thing you can do is take your color and have it a little wetter than, you know, than we usually do. And then you go ahead and tap it. And look at the dots it's making. You see that? So it's making little dots on it. You can see that. Yeah, alright, that way shows it. Okay. So I'm just taking my paintbrush and I'm getting it a little wetter than usual, and then I'm just doing a little, I can throw it on it. As we get those dots, that's fun. So I'm kind of going to add a few more of those just because that was fun. The beauty of watercolor is it's easy to wipe up. So if you get dots all over your work table, you just wipe it up. So you're getting the feel for what we're after. So this is looking pretty dark. I'm going to do the glare there. Okay. So that's looking like a dark color. Now you might have to fill in a few of those spots. Is it looking like anything though? Not all of them will, but sometimes you'll have something that just jumps out at you and it's the coolest thing. So that one isn't doing anything for me. It could be a bridge, but it doesn't have to be anything. I'm going to go back to this one because this one was interesting with its swirls, and I'm going to add some more color to that. Oops, I said don't leave your paintbrush in the water, and I just left my paintbrush in the water. Oops. So when your water starts getting really dark, you want to stop and change that because your colors will all start mushing together and turning like mud. So I'm just going to empty this out and get it really clean. So I'm just going to get a clean bit of water so that my paints don't all turn the same color. And here we go. I'm going to do a few more on this one. What color does this need? I don't know. I'm just going to play with it. I want it to be dark, so I'm going to plop some dark in there. Alrighty. I'll put some of these in there too. Making this one really dark. And then something else you can do, which you can salt it again. And you can also take the paintbrush, the other side of the paintbrush, maybe do little swishes through the paint. So you're like actually making, you're sort of erasing lines. Oops. See how the back of the paintbrush, I just went through that. So that's it's looking very foresty to me. So it's like a what am I seeing? Let's look at it every different direction. It's looking sort of like a little forest. Maybe I'm making stuff up and you're saying, what is she talking about? It could be a leaf that I'm seeing, and just the whole thing is a giant leaf. So you can look at it and say, you know, yes, this is saying something to me. Or it can just be colorful paper. And so I can show you what I often do with my colorful paper that I make shapes out of. Instead of being able to make, you know, a portrait or a, you know, a landscape or a still life, I cut the shapes up and I create greeting cards. So from all these papers, I have all these colorful papers now to choose from, and I can take that paper and make a sailboat card. I can make, oh, this is, I call these cards are, I have, they're Whitby notes. All the things you'd see if you were here. And so there's my whales. This is all from paper that I made. It's also from, to be honest, it's from projects that I've tried to paint a watercolor and it didn't work. It looked really bad, so I just saved the paper and cut it up. So this is, you see that one is a sunrise. I've got, what else do I have? I have, this might be too glaring, and there's a little sheep beating. So these are fishies. No, I can't see that one. So I have those. I have some other ones in here too that I can show you while you're playing with your paints. And apparently they're there. So I have another sailboat. Sailboats are, you know, I just love sailboats with the birds. And then I have some tulips. But see, I can all the variety of colors come from these papers. So through the week or through the next couple days, go ahead and just play with the papers that you have, maybe some more, and just see what colors you come up with. So I have some light, and I may do more on this, and then I have this medium. This is looking pretty fun to me. It's, you know, it's sort of chaotic yoga class, or this person's skiing, and you just have fun. And then I've got this dark one going on. So I'm going to play with them some more, and the key is make sure they're dry before you put the next layer on, and don't use all, even though you're tempted, try not to use all of the white space. You want to leave a little bit of white. And so the next class we will use these to cut up. So you want to make it, you know, a few more, so you have a variety to. The next class we're going to do another technique, and then we'll have all that paper from the two techniques to create our masterpiece in the fourth class. So next class you will need the same thing as this class, except we're going to change the salt shaker to a spray bottle. So you want more paper, and if you want to wet your paper ahead of time before class, then we can just spend the whole class sort of playing. That's fine. So that was our class today. It was salting watercolor and playing and making, and just don't worry about what it is, just plop it down there. And maybe something will come out and maybe not.